This video is about running Mann-Whitney U Test in SPSS. Here is the data. So we have the students' finishing positions in a 1 mile race. And we also have the student gender information. And this is how gender is coded. So we are interested to find out if there's differences in the finishing positions between the genders. And because we have a small sample size, and also because the dependent variable is the ranking data, so we're going to use the Mann-Whitney U test, which is a non-parametric alternative for independent samples t-test. So I'm going to show there's two ways of running Mann-Whitney U test in SPSS. So this test is to looking at the distribution the same across groups. So we're going to analyze, and then we go to non-parametric test. So Lexi, so this is the first method using Lexi dialogues. And because we are looking at independent groups, boys and girls, so we're using two independent samples because we only have two groups to compare. We'll put a finishing position in the test variable, and gender will be the grouping variable. And we'll need to define the groups. Just we use that's basically how we coded the gender with the zeros and ones here. And then continue. So by default, Mann-Whitney U, that was checked. That would be the test we're going to use. So if there's some, we don't need those. And then if there's, so I'm going to check this one. So by default, they are going to, the program will give us a asymptotic p-value. So basically, they use us approximation to approximate the distribution. So if the sample size is small, like less than 30, so the recommendation is to use the exact test, and this asymptotic p-value is good for a large sample size. And so we look at it. If this is available, we're going to use the exact. And so then default is good, then we just continue. And I'm going to OK. And then when we look at the output, and so we have this rank information for females and males. And we have the sum of ranks and mean ranks. So you can see that sum of ranks for females 23 and 32 sum of ranks for male. Looks like from the sample data, looks like the females has better finishing positions. So when we run the test, this will give us the Mann-Whitney U, and these are the test statistics actually give us some different test statistics. Since we asked for the exact test, we'll look at the exact test two-tailed, and this is the p-value here. So because our sample size, this is actually different from the asymptotic p-value. If a sample size is large, these values will converge. Since we have a small sample size, so the values differ. So when we look at this, we can see that this is larger than the 0.05. So that tells us that there's no differences in between female and male students in the finishing positions. So this is one of the methods to run Whitney U test using the Lexi dialog. And there's another way to run the test. It's from analyze, then same here, non-parametric test. And we go to from here, independent samples. And so in this, so we're going to check the fields. We're going to put finishing position in the test fields and gender in the grouping variable. I'm going to check the settings. I'm going to use the customize tests. I'm going to check the Mann-Whitney U. Let's check there's others. Looking good, So now, we're going to run the test. So hit run. And then in the output here, so this is the test output. So it's nice that it gives a hypothesis test summary and gives a null, which is testing the distribution finishing position, whether it's the same across the different levels of gender, and what test is used, and the p-value, which is reported here, is the exact significance level. And it also tells the decision. So we're going to retain the null because it does not reach significance. And the table below here, it gives us the test statistics. And I think this is interesting. I think here the kind of reversed, yeah. So they rank all the positions just reversed, yeah. So this numbers is different from the table we saw using the legacy dialogues, but it does not matter because the p-values are exactly the same. So since we have a small sample size, we'll read the exact p-value, which is 0.421, as the same as we had before, and tells us there's no significance in the positions. And this is a nice graph that shows the distribution of finishing position for female and male. So it does not have a lot of differences, although we can see that females tend to have a better has a better position from our sample. And this one is just finishing positions. So the frequency for the finishing positions. And this is the group size for sample size for each group. I think this I think the graph here I think this one, yeah, so this is more interesting to look at it. But it's also nice, yeah, so we do have a summary that gives us how the test results. So this is the Mann-Whitney U test in SPSS. Thank you for watching it.